Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to, my newly named show, Brazen Insights with Asia. Now, before we dive into what this episode is going to be about, I do want to kind of explain myself on why I'm changing the name of the show and pretty much why it's going through a rebranding. I felt like I can't just drop Happy Go Lucky and move on to a new one without explaining myself. And so, briefly, I will say that Happy Go Lucky with Asia was pretty much a show where I would be a happy warrior and I would bring you all scripture in the beginning and in the end to end on a happy note when it comes to whatever subject matter as it related to the economy, politics, entertainment, trying to make Christ a little bit more popular. And to some degree, you are still going to get that aspect. But I have to tell you, with these latest news coming out regarding immigration and with the economy, there's just no way I can maintain this happy go lucky attitude. I can't because I'm not a happy warrior. I have a lot of righteous anger. And not just as a Christian in America, but as an American citizen. And the story that we're going to cover today, I'm so furious that it's not really going to be from a Christian perspective. It's going to be from an American perspective, an American perspective. And so, with that said, I do want to say that today we're going to dive into the issue that is so diabolical and probably the biggest threat to our sovereignty. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is illegal immigration. It is escalating. It's escalating. And I don't know if you all see it, but I know that I'm seeing that we're reaching a point as it relates to illegal immigration, that Americans are going to find themselves doing one of two things: fight or flight. Fight or flight. Except we're heading to a time where there's going to be no place to run because the entire country is becoming overrun with them. Right? It's just the fact. They're all over the place. And we can't just ignore that fact the way Kamala Harris is. I mean, just think about it, right? If you listen to the mainstream media, they're pretty much in denial that Kamala Harris had a serious position in this whole situation as it relates to illegal immigration. I mean, she was and still is the border czar, right? I mean, we can't sit here and forget that we are still in the Biden Harris administration. We're at the tail end of it. They got a couple of months to go. She technically still is the border czar. She is. And we're supposed to pretend like, oh, because they pretty much try to memory hole it. And when we refuse to let them memory hole it, they got to flip flop. They got to deny it, deny the fact that she was the point person, that she was the border czar. And the fact is, ladies and gentlemen, she did absolutely nothing. And immigration has gotten out of control, both illegal and legal. But illegal immigration is by far the worst, right? Because legal immigrants, if, in my personal opinion, didn't show up here to take over. Because let's call a spade. With the recent stories that I'm hearing coming out of Colorado, it's clear that the border crisis is spiraling way out of control. We're seeing gangs from Hispanic countries taking over different areas across the country. You got illegals increasing the crime rate happening out of Central Park. Couple of Venezuelan gangbangers killed two cops, shot two cops point blank in New York. Point blank. I believe this happened in June. And recently, these last couple of months, Venezuelans have been taking over Aurora, Colorado. It's clear that immigration is out of control. Illegal immigration is out of control. And so for this episode, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to unpack that specific development as it relates to Aurora, Colorado, because, oh my gosh, I just wait till you guys see that. I do want to explore and discuss certain what can states do, right? Because we know they have a role in this crisis. They don't have to rely solely on the federal government. States can do more to protect their state sovereignty, especially when the federal government fails them. And I have a couple of ideas on that, and we're going to talk about that in this episode. And like I said earlier at the top of this, these ideas and my opinion on this specific issue is why I couldn't say this is happy go lucky, because it is, and it's going to come off outrageous, and I'm pretty brazen about it, and I don't really care how it sounds. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a heads up and a trigger warning for you lefties. This episode could come off very prejudiced, it can come off very racist, and I don't care. And that's why I couldn't call it happy go lucky, because today it's not going to be all, being all biblical. I have a righteous anger, and as an American citizen, I'm pissed. I'm fed up, and that's what we're going to talk about as it relates to illegal immigration. Now, I want to start with Kamala Harris, right? As the Border Czar. Okay, because I know the mainstream media is pretty much trying to deny the fact that she is. I mean, it doesn't matter which channel you turn on, with the exception of Fox News. They're the only mainstream channel that acknowledges the fact that she was the Border Czar. But this distancing that they're doing, trying to pretend like she's not a part of the Biden-Harris administration, it's like, chick, what do you mean? You are the Harris and the Biden-Harris. You tweeting about how POTUS appointed me Border Czar. Like, that's what she tweeted out, ladies and gentlemen. That's what she tweeted. No one made her do it. She was bragging about the position. Now, I want to talk about the fact that she was made the Border Czar for a reason, right? It was meant, crisis is being taken seriously at the highest level of our government, right? She's the number 2. She's the commander. Biden is the captain. She's the number 2. She's the commander. She's supposed to be Chakotay. That's who she's supposed to be. She's terrible at it. She's terrible. Because I don't know if y'all know, or if y'all have seen it or not, but I remember she was trying to find the root causes to the illegal immigration. I'm like, where the heck is that report? Because I haven't seen it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have, and there is a report that actually exists about the root causes, drop it in the comment section, put a link to it, because maybe my bias against Kamala is why I didn't go out there and read it. And I have no problem admitting that I have a bias towards the Democrats. But maybe my bias is why I didn't go searching for it. So if it exists, drop it in the comment section, because as far as I'm concerned, it never happened. But that's the first thing that she said she was doing as the Border Czar. But if you listen to the mainstream media today, you think her involvement was so minimal or non-existent, despite the fact that it's all over social media, that she was the Border Czar. But they want to downplay it. They pretty much don't want to hold her accountable. They just don't. Not surprised. Not surprised, right? Because they refuse to acknowledge her responsibility in it. That her failure is what's hurting all of us. The media spin is just not only distorting the truth, but it is undermining the efforts to hold all of the leaders accountable. And with the border getting worse every day, and with every state in the country becoming more overrun with illegal immigrant crime, it's more important to hold our leaders accountable. It's more important now than ever. It just is. Because when you don't hold your leaders accountable, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, you know what happens? Aurora, Colorado happens. That's what happens. I'm going to share this story with you all, ladies and gentlemen, and this one pissed me off, folks. I'm not even going to lie. I think this was the story, because I've been sitting on it, on the illegal story, for not the story, but my opinion on it. I've been sitting on it for a couple of days because, I want to be able to upgrade the quality of the show. And so I've been waiting for the microphone. I had to get better headphones, but I need a better camera. I need better hardware. I couldn't even wait for all of it because this was too important to me. This particular story is too important to me. I'm so pissed, ladies and gentlemen, with what I'm about to show you. It might set me off. I'm not even going to lie to you. It's probably going to set me off. And so before we get started, I want to kind of give you a little description of what you're about to see. This is Aurora, Colorado. Okay. And Venezuelan gangs, and the video will give you the name of the gang. But to be honest with you, I could give a rat's ass about what the name is because this is English. This is America. We speak English. I don't speak Spanish. I have no intention on trying to pronounce this thing. But the fact of the matter is, these are Venezuelan gangbangers who are pretty much taking over this one little town in Aurora, Colorado. They're taking over the hood in that area. And so when you see it, you're probably going to be as heated as I am. And I make no promises that I won't get even more heated as we watch this. Here we go.
Y'all are on bullshit. That is on bullshit.
Look at this son SOB is carrying an AR-15 with a scope on it. With a scope. And the one in red is carrying a damn. The one in red is carrying a pistol. Look at this. Knock on the door and just be walking in. Look at that. Not. What? Look at that. Human smuggling, drug trafficking.
The Venezuelans is taking over.
Let me turn that up because I want y'all to hear that. Listen to this black man. Listen to, because let's call a spade. This is the hood. This is probably a black man saying it. So listen carefully.
Nigga, the Venezuelans is taking over. They just jacked them. Oh,
Look at this.
bro, damn, they done made a mess of shit.
Look at this. I can't. Because it is. You see what that says? Some believe they're saying that the building got shut down over code violations. And so pretty much the people who were living there got pushed out. Right. But some of the people who live there, they believe that the code violations was pretty much a cover for the gang's control over the property. That is what's happening. In Aurora, Colorado, I'm like, yo, this is Colorado. This is Lauren Boebert's territory. Maybe it's just her district where they're all gun toting. But that story pissed me off, folks. Like, what do you mean they're just pushing them out? What do you mean? That one black man, oh, you couldn't see him. He was definitely the one recording. He said, N-word, the Venezuelans are taking over. Did they just jack him? Meaning somebody just got their car stolen by a Venezuelan. And the mayor of Aurora is doing absolutely nothing. He goes on the news and he says that, oh, well, it's not as severe as it seems. I'm paraphrasing. We are looking into it and we're doing something about it. No, what you did was say the building had code violations. And so you moved the illegals in there. So that way, oh no, they're not in good condition. They just took over abandoned property because the property was condemned. Get out of here. You're covering for them and trying to cover your own ass. And now citizens of Aurora, Colorado have to live with that. They're being pushed out of their own neighborhoods. That's what's happening there. That is what's happening. And what the heck is the state doing? We'll talk a little bit about that, but I have to say, like, what's going on? This isn't just an isolated thing. This one part of Aurora, they've taken over the entire neighborhood. This isn't the only complex. This is the only complex we've caught on camera. It is. But what are you doing? What is this mayor doing? The impact that the illegal immigration is having on local communities is beyond devastating. Like, devastating isn't even the word for it. Families are afraid, businesses are suffering, and the sense of safety non-existent for the people who already live in the hood. I mean, think about this. If you are someone who grew up in the hood, it was already difficult for you because you could get caught up in some gangbanger stuff anyway. Now imagine this. I mean, just think about that. Think about it. And like I said, this isn't isolated to Aurora, Colorado. I'm getting stories on TikTok out of New York. How the illegal gangbangers are taking over the city. They shooting cops point blank. The crime in Central Park is getting even crazier. It's increased. Now they were all coming at all of us who said, "Nah, what happened with the Central Park 5? Yes, was it a miscarriage of justice? Yes, of course it was." Right? There's a whole lot of debate that can go back and forth about the Central Park 5, but all these lefties were like, "No, they're black." Okay, well now there's some serious crime happening to everyone, not just white Americans, black Americans too, in Central Park. And what say you, black Democrats? Where are you at? Because you were quick to defend the Central Park 5, who by the way were criminals. I mean, they were in the park to commit crime. They may not have committed that heinous crime that they went to prison for, but ultimately they did jump somebody for a bike. So they were in there to commit crime. But the crime being committed isn't over no damn bike. They are shooting people, these migrants, illegals. They're beating people up. They're assaulting young women. You can't even take a stroll in Central Park at night anymore. And it's so beautiful in the summertime. Summertime in New York should be the most fun. It should be the best thing. But it's not anymore because of how vicious and violent it's gotten, because it's not American crime. It isn't. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we know the difference, right, between American crime and illegal crime. Americans, someone kills their spouse for the insurance. Black gangbangers, they do drive-bys to make a point, right? If I can't get the one I want to kill, then I'm just going to spray everybody, because if I can't get him, I'll get somebody that he loves, and that counts, right? That's American crime. That's black crime. Migrant crime, they will chop somebody's head off and hang a body from a bridge naked to make a point. That is not American. When blacks and whites rob someone, they rob someone with a pistol, right? Just to get the cash. If I don't got to kill you, I'm not going to kill you. I'm just here to get the cash and a beer and some alcohol, some liquor, and I'm gone. Don't even got to take your life. Migrants, they walk up in there with a machete. Because remember, there was a story just a few years ago. These illegal children chased a black kid into a store, killed him, dragged him out of the store, and chopped him up with a machete. That is not American crime. You see, we know the difference. Why doesn't our government know that we know the difference? Do something about this. Get them the hell out of our country. Toss them. Toss them. But our federal government isn't doing a damn thing. And so that brings us to, what can states do? Right? What can states do? Because I know damn well the federal government is pretty much not here. They're failing. On purpose. Let's call a spade, ladies and gentlemen, right? Because at best, their approach to illegal immigration is weak. At best. At worst, this is malice planning, malicious. This is intended to replace the American. At worst. And I'm more inclined to think the latter. They want to take us out. They want the Americans gone. We're too privileged. We think for ourselves. A lot of people who were woke 4 years ago aren't anymore, because all it took was for a bad situation in the economy to wake up, and that they don't want. So they need to replace you, black men, because that's who I'm looking at. That's who they really want to get rid of. You men in America. That's what they want, to replace you men. That's what they want to do. They want to ruin Americans. They just do. And so this is where states come in, because I'm so tired of waiting on the federal government to be our savior. I'm over them. Even when Trump gets into office, don't get me wrong, I'm voting for the man, because I know he's going to build a wall, mass deportations, and I don't want to hear this nonsense about we can only do 1 million at a time because it's costly. Understand, Americans will sink this country further into debt if it means getting them the hell out. Kick them out. I'm tired of thinking that they're speaking Portuguese or Spanish, that I have to speak another language to get a job. In America, you learn to speak English here. I have to go through hoops in certain states to get a firearm, but these mofos can walk up in my building and take my turf. Where is the state's authority? Where is that mayor? He should have been the first one. See, I got a couple of ideas on that, ladies and gentlemen, as far as what the states can do. If you are dealing with gang bangers in your state, if not one of them have committed a felony, a violent crime, the state or the city needs to pardon them and create a state military and go ham. That is what has to happen, because I'm sick and tired of waiting for the federal government. And you're telling me we got to wait a couple of months till January for Trump to get in there to do something? I don't want to hear that. Side note, where are the American gangs? Where are they? And I'm not talking about no damn Latin kings either. They never should have been here either. Where are the black gangs? Where are the white gangs? Where are you? You run around killing each other for nothing, for cars. You slept with my baby moms. You did this. Oh, you disrespected me. You came on my block. Well, these mofos just walked up in your building and took turf, and you did nothing. Did absolutely nothing. You let them do it. Black gangbangers, white gangbangers, American gangbangers. You already committing crime. What's another one? If it meant defending your community, if that's what it took, where are you? That's what I think states should be doing. You should be unleashing your armed citizens. If they're not armed, arm them. If they don't know how to, teach them. It's time for this to officially come to a head. I'm over these illegals. I'm tired of them. And you know what? These illegals are getting me to a point where I have a prejudice. I'm not proud of it. I'm not, but I have it. It's like, because I know a lot of these illegals are coming from Spanish speaking or Portuguese speaking nations, I see every last one of them. You could even be a Latin born American. And because I don't know, I have a prejudice. Because now I'm thinking all of you are illegal. Now I'm thinking all of you are criminals. I'm thinking all of you are putting me at risk. And now I want all of you gone. That's how it feels. You're making Americans feel towards Latinos the way that Americans felt towards Muslims after 9/11. It's that bad. And the government is doing absolutely nothing. And let's call a spade. No one gives a damn if they're from Venezuela, Mexico, Honduras. We don't care. You all look yellow to us. You all are a threat. You all look the same. No one gives a damn which nation you're coming from. You are a criminal and you're violating our space. And now my government wants to give you money to buy a house or a business? Are you kidding me? Get out of my country. That's how I feel. That's how I'm sure a lot of you watching this feel. I'm so sick of it. And that story definitely did it. That's why I was thinking, it's time to get creative. If they have no violent criminal past and they are black or white Americans, gangbangers who have not committed a violent crime, pardon them. And you create a state military or a local military out of your municipality and you protect them. If we got to do this like how we did it against the KKK, walk up to the top of the cul-de-sac and pop off a couple of shots so they know, don't come here with that nonsense, do that. And then when Trump gets into office, he can back us up, because I'm tired and I don't want to wait for him. I don't. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so furious with this. This is why I could not call this happy-go-lucky, because I'm not happy. I can't even justify my brazen opinions with a scripture, because this amount of anger is not just isn't coming from a holy place. It's coming from an American perspective. I would love to be able to love my enemy, but they make it difficult, don't they? They do. This would be easy. I would prefer it be easy. I would prefer to do this without bloodshed. I would prefer to put you on a plane and send you home. Now, I'm sure we'll be able to do that with the women and children. Never mind locate 300,000 children that came across this border illegally. And that's the only ones that we actually, the count that we know about. 300,000 of them are missing, probably human trafficked across the country. And no one knows where they are. Once we find them, you get them treated, send them home. Don't leave them here. I don't want another round of DACA kids. I don't want no more birther babies, or whatever the heck they call them. Excuse me, anchor babies. That's what they call them. I don't want no more of that. I want legal immigration to be on hold. I want so much done. And a lot of it has to be done at the federal level. I understand that. There's policies there. But there are things that states, you do not want legal immigration in your state. You don't want illegal immigration in your state. You're going to empower the American citizen. You're going to back up the individual. You're going to arm your citizens legally. And you're going to pardon the criminals without a violent past that are Black American or white American gangbangers, so that way they can become your local military to stand up against this. That's what has to happen. And that's what I think. That's why this show could not be called Happy Go Lucky. That's why the show is now called Brazen Insights with Asia, because I'm bold enough to say it, to say what I know we're all probably thinking. At some point, this is going to go to blows. At some point, there's going to be bloodshed. If they expect us to wait till to January and think that this isn't going to get worse, they're out of their mind. Completely out of their mind. 100%. And so that's the path forward, to empower us, to let us take care of it, right? Because I remember that woman in Chicago, she told her councilman, if you don't handle it, the streets will. Well, let them. Back them up. States, back them up. Back them up, because we can't be Americans running, fleeing from one state to another. Now, I did that. I fled New Jersey and I came to Texas, which, illegal immigration is far worse down here, if you ask me, than it is in New Jersey. And that's saying a lot, because it was bad in New Jersey. Corner store around the store around the corner from me, the guy got robbed by a man with a machete. He was speaking Portuguese. That's not American crime. And I thought, time to go to Dallas, time to go to a place that's a little bit more conservative. But illegal immigration is still bad. And not to mention, Dallas County is really damn liberal. And I don't want to hear that the Dallas mayor was in at the RNC. He's a bunch of hogwash. He's not a real conservative. If he were, he would be doing something about these illegals. He would be saying, Abbott, I'll do what you need me to do. I will let my men fire on scene if they resist arrest, if they get hostile and violent, if they put the community at threat. I'm going to unleash all holy heaven on them. But he didn't do that. But the pathway forward, let us handle it. Let us citizens handle it. Because the next time somebody knock on a door with an AR-15, you're going to get a response from the Black armed man, from the white armed man, from the Latino American armed man. You ain't just walking up in here trying to take turf. Don't let them obtain money. And if they do obtain federal dollars, don't let them spend it. They shouldn't be able to rent. They shouldn't be able to buy cars. They shouldn't be able to drive cars. They shouldn't be able to have employment here. It needs to be made so uncomfortable for them that they want to leave. And on their way out, when they get caught, take them. And if they resist, they would have chosen death. You're obligated to give it to them as law enforcement. And that's the pathway forward. Now, my advice to everyone watching this show, the call to action I have for you: call your mayors, call your councilmen, call your congressmen, call your senators, and figure out how you can get information to your governors. Put the pressure on them, and you tell them, look, if you don't, we will. And I don't want to hear nothing about you sending in the SWAT team to take us down when they are running around here with AR-15s with a scope on it. That's what I think. That's how I think we move forward. I'm so damn pissed about the story, ladies and gentlemen. Pissed. But that's why I said this show cannot be called Happy Go Lucky. This isn't the time for it. Maybe I'll make it a segment in this new version of my show. I'm so glad you guys joined me today for this. I know I went off on a rampage on this subject, but I know you are all feeling it too. Now, maybe my ideas are a little bit more out there for you. Like I said, this episode could come off a little bit racist and prejudiced, and my ideas could be a little bit out there, but I'm brazen enough to say it. At least I have an idea on how to deal with the situation. If you disagree with me, put it in the comment section. If you think I'm too outrageous with my ideas of pardoning nonviolent criminals that were Black or white American gangbangers, tell me what you think. If you agree, drop it in the comment section. If you have ideas, drop it in the comment section. I'm not doing the show because I'm trying to make money from YouTube. I'm doing the show because I want to see if I'm the only one who thinks this outrageously, I put that in air quotes, or if you agree with me. That's why I do this. The challenges we're facing are pretty daunting. But you know what? With resilience, determination, and faith in our King, we can overcome this. But we got to stay vigilant. We got to stay informed, and you got to stay strong and stay on top of your political leaders. You're going to have to be the ones that hold them accountable by putting the pressure. Like I said, if you found this episode to be insightful, let me know. You can like, share, and subscribe to this channel. If you disagree with me, that's okay too. I don't expect people to agree with me all the time. Put it in the comment section, like I said. But together, we can make a difference. We just got to start somewhere and having a conversation. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, folks, take care. God bless you all, and have a good night.